Hi, my name is Aaron. Welcome to the channel. This is my first video. Now, you may realize very quickly I have little to no audio or visual expertise. A little bit about myself, I'm just a fan of One Piece. Been enjoying One Piece since the 4Kids days. Gotta say, I do love the rap. Don't love the way they dubbed it, as I think many would agree. But I wanted to make this video because I wanted to discuss something that I saw in One Piece chapter 1159. So yes, there will be spoilers. If you haven't read it, if you haven't seen the spoilers, click away. I don't want anybody being spoiled unnecessarily. But if you're still with me, I want to talk a little bit about the brewing speculation, if you will, about the traitor amongst the Rocks pirates. Now, as we've seen in the last chapter, Shaki has been abducted by the world government, and we see a clip of Ochaku, my bad, reading a newspaper and seemingly gloating about that. And that's kind of been confirmation for a lot of people, if it wasn't confirmation already, that Ochaku, who does later go on to take over Hachinosu, Pirate Island, the Beehive, that he is in fact the traitor amongst the rocks. And I don't think that's a bad theory. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. In fact, it's probably true, but I wanted to make this video specifically because I think that there's a chance that this might be a red herring. I think there is a very real chance that Ochaku might be a co-conspirator or might just be an opportunist who took advantage of the actual traitor's work. And I wanted to point out that there is another character who could just as easily have triggered the events that have led to God Valley, and that character is Gloriosa. Now, I know the first thought that someone might have if they've seen the leaks, they've seen the spoilers, is Gloriosa, she's in tears when she hears the news about Shaki's abduction. And I would agree. She is clearly distressed by this. In fact, the very next panel on the same page talks about the distress that the other members of the Rocks pirates feel regarding this event. However, distress is not the only cause of tears in the world. I would point out another famous case of tears being that of Squard, of the Whitebeard pirates. After he stabbed Whitebeard and Whitebeard forgave him, embraced him, and took him back as his own, Squard can be seen crying tears of shame, tears of remorse. And I think that's very important because Oda has played with these feelings before. So I'd like to point out that there is a very real possibility that Oda may be showing us a gloating Ochaku and a tearful Gloriosa as a way of misleading us to what really has occurred. So why do I believe that Gloriosa might be the traitor in question here? Simply put, Gloriosa has motive to want Shaki gone. When we are first introduced to Gloriosa in this flashback, what are we seeing? We're seeing that Gloriosa has a pile of fan mail, but she's keenly aware of the mountain of fan mail that Shaki has. There's a disturbance, that her first mate overshadows her, and that's going to occur again and again and again. Gloriosa wants Roger, but who does Roger want? Shaki. Gloriosa leaves the Kuja pirates to join the Rocks pirates at Hachinosu, thinking, I'm going to get out of Shaki's shadow. But what happens shortly after? Shaki arrives at Hachinosu and sets up a bar and becomes the object of everyone's affection again. Once again, Gloriosa is caught within the shadow of her own first mate. When Roger finally arrives at Hachinosu, it's not to see Gloriosa, who still carries feelings for him. It's to see Shaki, despite the fact that Shaki has been clear that she's not interested. It doesn't seem to matter for Gloriosa what she does. She will always be second fiddle when it comes to matters of the heart to her own first mate. And I believe that jealousy has played a large role in a split-second, spur-of-the-moment decision that she regrets. I believe she either on her own or in coordination with Ochaku worked to betray Shaki, to have her removed from the island, to finally get out from Shaki's shadow. And I do believe that she truly regrets it. I'd point out that when we first meet Gloriosa in the present, when we first see her as a character, as an elderly advisor to Hancock, she is considered a traitor a traitor to the Kuja tribe. And the reason given is that she left for a time, that she abdicated her responsibilities, left the tribe, and didn't come back for many years. And that's, in all likelihood, probably a perfectly good explanation. I'm not saying it has to be any more convoluted than that, but it would make more sense in explaining Hancock's disdain for Gloriosa if Gloriosa had at one point betrayed another of her tribesmen, or tribeswomen as it were. If Gloriosa had in fact turned over a former empress of Amazon Lily to the world government. And the fact that she would then go and want to rescue her, the fact that she might regret it and try to undo it, might give her a pathway back to some degree of forgiveness, but it wouldn't be forgotten, particularly by the current leader of the Kuja tribe, Hancock. My proposal, therefore, is that we're being a bit misled here. That effectively what's happening is Oda is setting us up to think that Ochaku is in fact the sole traitor. I want to posit the idea that he is an opportunist who has taken advantage of the hurt and the disdain that Gloriosa felt in certain moments. He might have fed the flames and allowed that to continue happening. He might have, prodded and poked to get her to do what she ultimately did. But I think he took advantage of what other people did. And I'd point out that this has implications for the rest of the series. One of the characters that we keep an eye on is Caribou. Caribou is a character who, of course, has most recently been seen begging for an audience with Blackbeard, seemingly because he wants to join Blackbeard's crew. He knows about the ancient weapons, at least two of them. He knows about Poseidon. He knows about Pluton. He knows their locations. This could be incredibly damaging to Luffy. But I want you to imagine the possibility that Ochaku, not a great guy, he's a pirate after all, has been wrongfully considered the traitor of the Rocks pirates, was overthrown during the Rocky Port incident through the work of Blackbeard and Law, even though we've never quite seen exactly how that played out. And his children, hypothetically, Caribou and Korobu, would have been the princes of said Hachinosu, would have been deposed alongside him. And it may be, potentially, that if Ochaku was not the traitor, then Caribou sees what happened to his father and what happened to he and his brother as a result as unjust. And that his attempt to have an audience with Blackbeard may not be the damaging thing to Luffy that we think it is, to the Straw Hats, to the rest of the world. It might be a different attempt at revenge. Now, that's not guaranteed. And again, this is speculation. It's for fun. It's not based on, concrete evidence. It's not based on anything that is a smoking gun. And in all honesty, the simpler explanation is likely the correct one. I'm not here to try to convince anybody that speculation, that my version of events is better, or that, if it doesn't go the way I'm proposing, that the story's gone downhill. I don't believe that. I just want to call attention to an interesting possibility, because I do think that there is a chance that the rug might be pulled out from under our feet as readers, and we might be in for a bit of a treat. Anyway, I swore I'd never say hit like and subscribe, because to me, everybody says it. But if you want to, hit the buttons. If you don't want to, I totally understand. Would love to see if this is kind of the content that people would like to hear more of. I don't know that the quality of these videos is going to improve at any point in the near future, but I will try if people want to hear them. So anyway, hope everybody's having a great time. Look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments below. Would love to respond to a few people, chat about a few things. I know in all likelihood that this is probably just, barking up the wrong tree, but that's what the fun of being a fan is about. It's all about speculation, right? Hopefully I'll have some more videos to upload to the channel here in the coming days. I have a couple of other ideas that I want to work on, ideas involving potential other triennial human hunts hosted by the world government. If that's the kind of stuff that you'd be interested in listening to, keep an eye out on the channel, and I'll try to have that up here within a week. Anyway, Thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.